Hello there, tabletop baseball subscribers and anybody interested in things like Stratomatic baseball or simulations on the tabletop. This is Tenacious Earl here. Just wanted to go ahead and try and put together a video where I do things from stop to start, beginning to end. This is going to be the Angels and the Yankees. This is the game is relatively significant to me because it's my 200th game in the Tenacious Baseball League version 2.0. This is the 2016 season. It's the Angels and the Yankees. Neither of those teams looks like they're headed for the playoffs, but I just wanted to go ahead and show you how I set up my games, play the game out, stop to start, and like I said, and put this out here in a way that is hopefully relatively concise. So let's get going with this. I'm going to show you what I do, so let's take a look. Okay, so first off, just for the sake of looking at this, what I would usually do is come into Strat PC and go new scheduled. So I have the Tenacious version 2 highlighted here. You can see we're on Tuesday, June 14th, 2016. I've already played Baltimore and the Mets. So next up is LA and New York. So I'm going to go ahead and close this now. I'm not going to save any changes because I didn't really change anything anyway. But so what I would then do, we're at a Yankees home game, so a lot of times I like to get my bag of dice, and I like to these are from the previous game, I like to just pick out dice that are pretty far down. I like to just have what I consider to be a random grouping of dice, so I like to take the ones that are farthest down. And for this one, I think we're going to use, let's just use the plain white. They're plain Angels. I used the blue one for the Mets, and I just decided that, the Yankees, I have no clue what happened to my navy blue D20. So we'll use these for the game. I'm going to throw this through, and hopefully we don't get a 20, we get an 11. So the 11, I do that for weather because if I roll a 20 in a non-dome and also non-California stadium, I use 20 as a rain out. So it's always good for me to start off by rolling the D20. And I see an 11 here. It's a night game. We saw that in Strat PC. So on the card there, I'm not going to show it to you, but it's on the 8 through 17 for the night. That's the normal weather. So singles will be 3s. I'm going to write that down here. And then home runs are 19 and 16. 19 for lefties and 16 for righties. And so now I'm going to go ahead and fill in my upper part here. So we're back here in Strat PC now. We know it's the Angels and the Yankees, so I will always end up selecting. I want to go into my team menu here. Gives me their overall record at the top right here. 13 and 27. So I'm going to write that on my sheet, and I also see what their record is against the Yankees, 1 and 3. So the series record I put up at the top. New York Yankees are ahead 3-1 in the season series. Now I'm going to flip it over to New York AL, and that gets us 18 and 22. Not out of the playoff picture, the Yankees, but it's looking pretty dim for them. So, and you may not have been able to see that window. I am not, probably not. My bad. Let me see. Probably not. Let's take a look. No. So I'll show you again, but this time I will actually show you. So here we are in the Angels team stats. You can see 13 and 27, and down here the Yankees at the bottom. Their record against the Yankees right down here, 1 and 3. So I'm going to put that on the sheet. I'm going to put 13 and 27 for the record. I'm going to go over to the New York side, do that as well, and put it down. So, okay, so you can see here I filled this in. So up here is 200th game. It says series. It's series 14 out of 18 series in the Tenacious format. In my schedule on my Excel spreadsheet, I have 5 columns, so I just keep track of the matchup. So this is the second matchup column, and this is the second game. Excuse me. June 14th date, the night game. This is the record that I was telling you about, 3-1 in favor of the Yankees. Angels record 13-27. New York Yankees 18-22, and Yankee Stadium. So I'm going to zoom out a little bit. Okay, so now we're in a place where we need to start getting the teams together. So I will switch it over to my Excel spreadsheet. So I have a couple of spreadsheets here that I use. This one is my pitching usage, and if we go to the Angels, who are the first team, see the green. It started out as blue. I don't know why I switched from blue to green. I think just boredom or not paying attention. I switched to green. Greens are the starters, and I kind of map out how the starts go throughout the season. As I go, I get to this point, and I try to take a really broad overview of the rest of the season. And so actually I'm gonna have to do this with Weaver. I just noticed this now, might as well fix it. But I'm gonna move Weaver's start ahead 1 because there's something messed up here. I'm gonna hit that away. I'm gonna give this one to Julius Chassin right here. I'm gonna take this one away, and that will let me move this one up. So because we want to give 4 days rest, because I noticed I had 2 guys on the same day. But see, it's the other thing I'm doing. Excuse me. If I take you back over to Strat PC, and I'm gonna have to show you this. There's another nice view that you can get. Well, there's a couple ways you can do it. Maybe the best way for each player is, let's take New York, the Mets, for example, because I'm in a situation with Noah Syndergaard and Jacob. Let's do Syndergaard. We're with Syndergaard here. Let's open up his card. So we've got his card open. You can't see it at the moment, but I will make it so you can. Okay, so here is his card. And if you go to the Notes tab, this gives you a pretty nice view of things. And so we're doing a 1/3 season. If you go to game started, he started 30 in real life, and I'm already at 9. What's happened is that I've played this season in a way where I have put, basically, because Syndergaard is their ace, I've pretty much put them as often as I can every 5th day. The trouble is that now I've reached a point where, and this may somewhat explain the Mets' good record, he is now 1 start away from having his season complete. So I've been looking more and more at this to help me decide how to use the pitchers the rest of the way out. So I'm going to have to kind of give Syndergaard a little bit of time off here. And it's the same way with other pitchers. I'm trying to keep an eye on that. Like innings pitched. He's pretty much at his innings pitched mark, right? Like, take 184 divided by 3, it's right around 61 1/3. So he should get 1 more start. That means he's pitched in more innings than he should have. Now look at this. His ERA is 1.48. He is pitching remarkably well. Strikeouts pretty much on par. He has not allowed a single home run in this replay. How about that? Isn't that something? So, that's something that we look at here. And I'm going to switch back to the other screen. But I mean, so you have these tools within Strat PC. So that's why if I go over here to the Mets, just to venture over to the Mets, you see here for Syndergaard, I have one start scheduled about halfway down the line. And I'm trying to get a bunch of other guys who are a little bit behind. So that's why we're going to have Julius Chassin start this next game. And let's go back to Strat PC and take a look at his. Oh, I got to manage a few different screens here. So let's go ahead and go up to the Angels and Chassin. We'll get his card up here. So again, I'm gonna have to do a little tweak here. Whoa. Is it going to bring it back up? No, I just bunged it up. Okay. Alright, so we go to his notes. You can see here his game started 22. He's only had 2. So if you divide 22 by 3, he should end up with 7. Somehow along the way, I have understarted Julius Chassin, and it might be because I was using injuries in a less than ideal way early on, given the fact that I've been trying to manage rosters via the actual rosters as they were in use during the season. So if you divide 22 by 3, you get 7. That means he has 5 starts remaining. So he's one guy that I really need to try and get starts in with. So let's go back to my pitching usage chart. So Chassin, I've got 1, and I really need to find ways to get him more starts. And I'm going to have to do a little more analysis. I could probably get him 1. I could probably get him 1, 2. Might be able to get him 4 out of the 5. So, and I might need to do that. So, what I might do is, well, I don't know. We'll have to see. It's not super important, but that's one reason why you see up here Jared Weaver doesn't have any starts. Shoemaker's not going to get any starts. Let me go back over here and let's take a look at Matt Shoemaker. So again, over to this screen and quick change. All right. We go to his notes. Game started 27 and he's at 8. He really should only start 1 more game, and we've got through about 14 games left, 13 games left. So, you know, these are dilemmas that when you're trying to run it the way that I'm running it, which is to try and keep player usage pretty much along the same lines as real life, makes it tough. So that's why we're going to go with Chassin here in this game. Basically just figured this out recently that I was a little bit behind with him. You can see he had a couple starts early. We probably should have gotten him another start somewhere here along the way. But it's also one of those difficulties when you're doing a short season, especially if you're trying to sort of like scale, like downscale it to a third. It's partly unrealistic to be able to do that, but you know, you have to try, and we're going to try to do that. So we already saw Chassin. Now for the Yankees, it's going to be Chad Green. Now Chad Green had a start in early June. He's going to get one here. Let's go over and take a look at his card in Strat PC. So we go to the Yankees and Chad Green. And we see that in his notes, he starts 8 games, and we have 1 start already. So that means he should get at least 1 more start, and maybe 2. I'll probably not start him another game after this, unless there's like a doubleheader and I need a spot starter, or unless just things are working out numbers wise where I can't. So that's I use the spreadsheet as well as Strat PC to try and inform my decision making on how to employ the rosters. The other thing that I can show you is I have a roster timeline evolution chart, which is over here, and it's a little bit tough to see probably in your view, but let's take a look at the let's take a look at the Angels. So this is basically across the top are the weeks. So we're in week 14. That's about game 118 in the stretch between 118 and 127. So as you can see, for each like starters, roles, and then we get down to the relief over here, you can see the role designations, and then you get to the position players, catcher and whatnot, and you go down the list here. It just helps me to track how I'm managing the roster. And so what I'll do is I'll come over to this when I'm building a lineup. If the team has had rest, I will use basically what I see here as the primary roster as it was done through my analysis. But I'll also go back and we'll take a look at this in a second. I think I'm done using Strat PC, so I'll be right back with another view here. Okay, so what we're seeing here is Baseball Reference, and this is a great resource. Let's take a look at the Angels here. So if you go to the Angels page, this is the 2016 Los Angeles Angels. What you can do is you can go to their franchise page, and it'll give you a list of if you want, and that's how you can get to here. Once you get to this landing site, you go under Other, Defensive Lineups, and this is so helpful. One thing you can actually do here is if you go into the Share and More, you could actually get this as an Excel workbook, and you can do a bunch of analysis and sort of automate some of your stuff. And I've done that for my next TBL, which is one day going to come out eventually. But so you could see here, if you look at from 118 to 127, you can kind of get an idea that in this stretch, it's still Jet Bandy, who's the catcher. Looks like CJ Crone comes in and starts most of these, but we still have Jeffrey Marte getting some time, as well as Jimon Choi. So we'll probably go with Crone as and I'm going to take a look here at my roster to see if it's what do we got? So I still have Marte listed here, so I'll probably default to him because it's just Crone has not quite come back full time. But this is just a great reference. So we see here right at this point here, it's Javatella is gone. They've sent him down, and now it's a platoon between Gregorio Petit and Cliff Pennington. Third base, it's Escobar, not much longer. It's mostly Cowart. Escobar is probably injured, although he does come back in around 134. But in this stretch, it's mostly Caleb Cowart. So we will probably start him today. We could use Jeffrey Marte there if there needs to be rest. We haven't rolled that yet. Simmons at short. Nick Buss has started in left here in this stretch, so we brought him into the lineup, or into the active roster. Trout and Calhoun. And the other thing I do is I look around here and see who are the platoon mates, as well as I will even drill into these box scores sometimes, especially for National League teams. For American League teams, it's tough to find pinch hitting. You don't really have any necessity for it because the pitchers don't hit. But in the case of National League teams, you can usually pretty easily construct what the 25-man looks like at any one time. Nowadays 26. But that pretty much gives us our information that we're going to kind of go from here. And I'm going to go ahead and switch over to the overhead and just show you what I do from here on out. So we've got Julius Chassin, and we have Chassin and Green. That's our starters. So I'm going to put them off to the side here. Now, I then take the previous game's box score. I'll get it up here. It's right here. And I will roll a D6 for each team using this lineup. And whatever comes up, there's a solitaire usage chart, which is on the blue super advanced chart. This is one that I've done. It's a little sloppier looking, but it's also pretty helpful if you wanted to like take a quick snippet of that, if that helps you. But this is how I do it. So I take the single die and I roll that for the away team, and so it's 6. So it's going to be center fielder, catcher, and third base. So we come over here. It's center fielder is Mike Trout. So we take those guys and we set them by themselves. Catcher is Carlos Perez. So we'll get him. He's right there. And then third base is Caleb Cowart. You can see I actually had to do some double switching in the previous game, which the Yankees did win, but it was a bit hairy. So take the rest of the cards and we'll put them right over here. So Mike Trout. Now, the way you do the solitaire usage is you take the at-bats plus the walks. Whatever their total is, you take this card and you cross-reference it to this number. You find the range that's right, and then you roll the D20. If the D20 falls between these ranges, they have to rest. If it falls out, so if it's like Mike Trout's a bad example because his total is way above 600, that means he never has to rest, so he will start. Carlos Perez, he is actually at 280. So we take a look here. He's not even in there. So he has to take a rest. So it's going to be Bandy, which Bandy is the starter through the stretch anyway. Caleb Cowart, he's not even 100, so he has to sit. So we're going to end up using Marte at third base. But let's just say we had somebody in the 550 to 574 range. Let's say they had 559 at bats and walks. Then you roll the D20. If it's 1 to 3, they rest. If 4 to 20, they can play. And then you could still make other decisions. Like if, we have righties going here. If one of them's a lefty, like if they're going up against a lefty, you might want to change the lineup. So now I usually just will make a hypothetical field here with, we knew Nick Buss is going to be out in left because he started the games there. Calhoun in right, which, with lefties, it makes sense with going up against right-handed Green. Our first baseman, so we have a choice between Crone and Pujols. The other thing that I could use Strat PC for is to show you is the usage display. In this project, I want to get it 33%. Unfortunately, because we aren't using DH, these teams have guys like Pujols, who were almost always a DH, that are going to get kind of underutilized. Here, Simmons can go short. It wants to fall out of my pile. I'm going to stick with Crone because I have underutilized him as well. So we're going to go with Crone. We know Bandy's going to be behind the plate. So then we have Petit. So we have Petit, Pennington, and Marte. And it's like, which ones do we want? Who are we going to use at third? I think we use Marte because in this stretch we saw at Baseball Reference he was more likely to have started. And then we've got this choice between Petit and Pennington. Let's go with Pennington because he's going to be a switch hitting player. And the only thing is Pennington started the last game. But I know that Petit has also started a lot. So it's not like we're going to be jipping him. The other thing I tend to do is I look at the score from the previous game, 5-4. So the Angels had a modest, pretty decent output. I'm going to stick with a very similar lineup. But I'm not going to lead off this time with Bus. To me, he went 0 for 5. It's like, okay, we're taking that out. Let's try. Some people would just take Trout and throw him up top. It would either be. Let's go with Pennington. We'll go with Cliff Pennington, not a speedy guy, although if he does get a good lead, sometimes we'll use him. We'll do Calhoun second with him lefty, Trout third righty, and we're pretty right-handed centric. We're going to go with Crone, sort of the power hitter in the 4 position. Then we'll bat Simmons right after him and Marte. So we're hoping after Crone, maybe Simmons will have a chance to get on base to get Marte a chance to bomb one. Then I like to kind of put the scrappy, fast fielder in the 8 hole who doesn't have a great opportunity to get on base, but enough of one to maybe be able to give the pitcher a chance to bunt. So Chacin, you look at the this number right here to find out which pitcher's hitting card. You can see it's a little blurry, but it's a 3. So we get out the pitcher's hitting cards right here. We're not using 1 this time. Most of the time you're using 1, but Chacin is a little better hitter for average. So now we put him into the pile. And I'm going to put these back. And we might as well take a look at Green while we're at it. I think he might be a number 1, but let's see. He is. Most of the AL guys don't hit much, so they don't get many opportunities because obviously they're playing DH, and maybe after this year we won't see the pitchers hitting ever again, which is sad, but okay. So what now? Let's you know what? Let's take a look at the Yankees before we do anything. So I'm going to set this lineup off to the side, and now we're going to get the Yankees out. We're going to roll one of the blue dice. That's a 2. So for that, it was 6-9-3. So we look at the Yankees. It was Gregorius at short. Aaron Judge in right. He might have to sit this one out, but I don't know. I might not sit him. We'll see. May have to play it by the book here. But he pretty much started consistently from the point he came in on. So it makes me tempted to leave him in because Aaron Judge only gets 93 plate appearances roughly. So he does have to sit, unfortunately. We'll probably use him as a pinch hitter along the way at some point. He did hit the winning home run in his first game with the Yankees here. So pretty exciting there. So Gregorius, his total is 581. So only a 1 causes him to sit. It's a 2. He gets lucky. Teixeira, that's a 434. So 434 is 1-15, it looks like. It's an 18, so he gets to start. So they're going to lose Judge for the game. Not for the game, but to start the game. But it's kind of sad that it came up with a blue 2 because that means we have to check right field, and that kind of sucks. That kind of Gary Sanchez had a much more interesting end of his first campaign with the team. He was homering all over the place. So Gardner starts a lot. Right field, we're going to find somebody. I think we're going to do Aaron Hicks out there. I mean, we could look at the baseball reference again if we wanted to. Now we've got Starlin Castro at second. Torreyes started the last game. Let's go ahead with Headley, especially since it is a lefty. And so that's that. Now, I want to try and use pretty much the same lineup. So we'll go Ellsbury. We're not using Torreyes. Instead, we'll use Gardner. We'll just move him up to the top of the order, or hitting second. Then Gregorius. We put Sanchez in the 4 slot, and we'll move Teixeira up, and then Headley. We don't have Gardner or Judge. That's what I'm doing. Gardner's moved up, so Teixeira, Headley. Then we'll go Castro. I want to. I think I'm going to move Hicks ahead of Teixeira. So we'll go Sanchez, Hicks, Teixeira. I think that's a little better. And we'll use pitchers hitting card number 1. So I'm not gonna put you through the whole lineup building, but I'm just going to show you what I do here for the first guy. So Pennington. There's Pennington, and we had him at second base. He runs at a 12 that goes into this slot, and second base he is a 2E4. I'll show you Cole Calhoun because he's an outfielder. A little different writing. 2 -4 E5. So that's that. Okay, so I noticed I was zoomed out quite a bit here. So there is how we do Pennington. So infielder, outfielder. Now we're to Jet Bandy, who's the catcher. So I'll show you right here. We do Bandy, obviously the name. Catcher, he's a runner of 8. Now I do the range is a 2. His arm is a 0. E5, but then I do a little fraction. I do the throwing air rating is an E as a 3, and the passed ball rating is a 1. I do it as kind of like a fraction there. So then we put bus here in left. And finally Chassin. And we need to look on this chart here. Chassin. Okay, he is listed right here as being a 1-13 on the roster sheet that we have here. So we're going to put him as a speed of 13, and his range is through. Just to show you, the defensive range is this, and then the E. So it's a 3E0. And I also put him right here in on the pitcher's line. So there's that. I'm going to go ahead and do the Yankees. Okay, so I've added the Yankees, and I almost forgot to put down my little scoreboard here. So we have that, and we're pretty much ready to play. Alright, so we are ready to rumble here at Yankee Stadium. This is game 2 of this series. The Yankees took game 1 by a score of 5-4, and Cliff Pennington will be the first to face Chad Green. Batting from the left side, it's a 5-8, and it's a grounder to second. That is going to be a test of Castro. He is a 3E14. 3-18. The range is good. It would have had to have been an 8, or it would have had to been a 4 or under for that to be to have eluded him. And then there's a 7 on the E14. I think I said. I'm pretty sure that's a good check. And that is correct. Got my charts folded all up here. Yes, that is good. 14, double check, yes. Play is made, 1 out. put this chart up here. I like to that's the one that I need to reference most often. Alright, so now Cole Calhoun 1 out. Underway here. Another 5-8 from the left side. That's another check of second baseman Castro. Remember, 3. So there's a 14. He gets to it. E14 and a 9, and he does make the play. That's 2 outs. And now Mike Trout versus center fielder. 1-8 against a righty. He draws a 2-out walk. And knowing his propensity to be fast, so Chad Green's +2, Gary Sanchez is -3, so that's going to be a good lead of subtraction of -3 from his 18, so it's still a 1-15 with a 75%. We're going to see if we can roll a 5 or 6 on the sum of the D6s that are with color. It is a 6, so he gets to go. A 1-15 means he has stolen the base. And it is a leaner, so I have to re-roll. And it's still a 20. That is out. So he gets caught stealing, and that will end the inning. Well, at least that half inning. So it looked like it was going to 20, and then it went. So there we go. So there's no score here at Yankee Stadium. Okay, so after the 2-out walk, Gary Sanchez with the heavy arm gets Trout trying to steal second, and now Ellsbury will lead off here, bottom of the first. Oh, and I did this wrong. Oop. There we go. Okay. Okay, he's a lefty, 6'5". That's a fly ball to left. That will be caught by Nick Buss. That's an out. Brett Gardner. 4-8 batting from the left side. This is going to be in the gap. Is he going to be able to stretch to a triple? Needs a 1 for that? No, he will not. So a double for Gardner. Let's see, what's our situation with the catcher? So we've got Jet Bandy's a 0, Chacin a -2, so I feel like we're not going to get anywhere trying to have Gardner steal third. Let's not try that. So Gregorius, okay, so with a 1 or a 2, we have to check with the D20. So with a 2, we roll this white die. If it's 1 through 3, it's a balk check. If it's 4 through 6, it's a passed ball. And it's a 6, so we have to check Bandy's passed ball. It's a 1. So if he gets a 1 on that roll, and he doesn't, so no passed ball, we continue with the at-bat for Gregorius. 1-2 against a righty, and he is hit by a pitch. So now first and second with 1 out, and it'll be Gary Sanchez. Hot young rookie. Already has 2 homers. 5-8, batting from the right side. That's a grounder to shortstop, or grounder to second base, excuse me. Could be 2. Pennington, a 2E4. Now he's going to be a 3E4 because of the hold. He's responsible with the right-handed batter, so Pennington will be a 3E4. 3 and 5, that is going to be a single. So unfortunately, because they're holding Gardner at second, that becomes a single with 2 stars. It is, yes, and no error, but that will score a run, an RBI for Sanchez. Gardner comes home to score 1-0. Gregorius to third, and Aaron Hicks at the plate now. So Sanchez is not going to be stealing. They're going to play with the infield. The corners will be in. So 3-7 against a righty. That'll be a liner to second base unless it's a 1 to 8. It is a 2, so that will be a single, 1 base advance. Gregorius comes in, it's 2-0. Yankees. RBI for Hicks. Sanchez to second. Now Mark Teixeira. Infield back to normal. Things looking bleak for the Angels already. 5-9. Batting from the left side. That's a fly ball to right field. That will be caught. And with Sanchez's speed, we're not going to give him a chance. We don't want him to get thrown out there. Although it's only a 20 that would get him thrown out, we're going to have him hold at second. Chase Headley, 2 outs. 4-7 batting from the left. That is a strikeout. He has not lost his stuff yet. But 2 runs are across, and we're going to go to the second with a 2-0 lead for New York. Okay, so got it set up here for Crone to lead off the second. 4-8 from the right side, and he is going to find some green out there. Will it be a 1 to 6 double? No, it will not. Single for Crone, first hit for the Angels. Not sensible to run with him, but are we gonna? Let's hit and run with Simmons. He's gonna be an A because they're holding Crone. So we're gonna hit and run with Andrelton Simmons. So 6-3. That is a grounder to shortstop, A, and that's going to be a double play ball. So Gregorius gets it to Castro, over to first to Teixeira for the second out. Twin killing, base is empty, Jeffrey Marte. 6-9 righty, grounder to short, that's Gregorius, 1E16. 1-6. The 1 gets everything in the range, and then that's well within the 8 to 12 buffer zone. He makes the play, so nothing for the Angels in the top of the second. Okay, moving right along. Now it's going to be Castro. 7 went to the plate for the Yankees in bottom of the first. So, say 1-8 righty. That's a grounder to third base. That'll be who do we put there? Marte makes the play. Throws the first for the out. Okay, now it's we need pitchers hitting card number 1, not number 2 for green. Oh. Quickly retrieve the dice. It fell 1-7. That is a strikeout. So 2 quick outs for Chacin here. In the second, now Ellsbury, the leadoff hitter, 2-9. And he strikes out, so that will retire the side. So we're going to go to the third with a 2-0 lead for New York. Okay, so top of the third, now Bandy. 2-2, that's a liner to third base, and it's a hot shot right at Headley. He grabs it for the first out. Nick Buss. 4-6. He is a weak home run guy, so this is a ballpark homer, but instead we do play it as the ballpark single, as long as it is rolled a 1 to 19, as long as it's not a 20. Ooh, it is a single for Buss. Weak power hitter, so that brings up Julius Chacin. He is a D bunter. He will be sacrificing. So, gotta get my chart. Did I completely misplace it? That's kind of weird. Ah, there it is. It's up on the shelf. Okay, so we're going to be sacrificing. He's a D. We will switch him to E since they're going to assume that he's bunting. So the other thing we could try to do is stealing with Nick Buss. He is he's just not a good enough stolen base doesn't have a good enough speed to make it worth the shot. So let's see here. There is a 9, which is a 1 and 2. So Chassin fouls it off. And is he going to strike out? There's an 11. That is a pop-up. And that will be caught by Castro, and that's the second out. So now it'll be Cliff Pennington with Bust at first and 2 outs. And that is a leaner, so we're going to re-roll 4-6 lefty. That's going to be another. That people are going to feel aggrieved by that, but let's see. It's also that 1-19. That's a 15, so it is a single, but it's only one. Actually, it's 2 base advance, right? On when we go from a home run to a single, it's a single 2-star. So that extends the inning, and now Cole Calhoun. .611 batting from the left is a grounder back to Green. 3E0 as long as it's above a 3, and it's a 9. So that is, even with an 18, good place to waste that one. That will be a 1-3 put out, which retires the side, no runs, 2 hits. Okay, so bottom of the third, here is Gardner. 4-4 lefty. That's a grounder to third base. Marte, not a very good third baseman. Well, 3E18, not so bad. But 3 and a 4, that's going to be a single. And the error on a 12, 18 and a 12, no error, but Gardner will reach. That'll be his second hit of the game. And so Chassin with Bandy. Bandy was a 0, so it'd be a subtract 4 from Gardner. Be up to 14. Could send him. Let's just go ahead and hit Gregorius here. Hate to take the bat out of the power guy's hands. 5-5. This is a 1-6 normal home run, and he does have normal power. It's an 18. That is a double for Gregorius. And Angels are going to throw to third, let Gardner score. They figure it's a lost cause. They could have a play at the plate, but with 1 out, they're going to go ahead and try and keep Gregorius off third. So Sanchez up 3-0. Another run is crossed for New York. 2-9. That's a strikeout. So now 2 away. Aaron Hicks. And the pitch, runner at second, 3-10. If it's a 1 or a 2, it's a double. It's a 17, so that'll be a fly ball into left field. Nick Buss there for the catch. They do get a single run there on the RBI double by Didi Gregorius. It is 3-0. Okay, so top of the fourth. Here's Trout. Angels need to get something going here. Make a little comeback. 2-6 is a walk. That's a good way to start. Second walk of the game for Trout. Let's see. He got caught stealing before. Do we want to try it again? Let's go hit and run with Crone here. He's a B. Might end up having to check a steal with Trout with this. So 1-6. So that is going to be a 6 on a B. That's a grounder to second base. And we just cost them a single 2-star. But that does get the runner over. 4-3 put out. But that time, on the chance that you're giving up the opportunity of a double play, you also give up the better result there. So, oh, there we go. Here's Simmons. Runner at second, 1 out, 1-5. That's a grounder to shortstop. Trout will not be able to advance. 2 outs. Jeffrey Marte. He could go yard here potentially. He has some power. 3-7. And that's an anti-clutch single. So instead of it being a single, it's anti, and so that will be a pop-up to shortstop, which will end the inning. So poor luck there for the Angels. Still 3-0 Yankees. So Yankees well in control here through 3.5. Teixeira 4-8 batting from the left. We've already seen that result. That's a double unless it's a 1. So a double for Teixeira. He pounds it to the wall. There's Chase Headley. Runner second, nobody out. 6-7 batting from the left. That's another. That's going to score. That's a single unless it's a 1. So a single, 2-base advance, gets through. Plenty of time for Teixeira to get home. 4-0. Angels have to start thinking about bullpen because this is not looking any better for Julius. Starlin Castro, 4-7 righty, is a strikeout. Fortunately, he has not lost his stuff yet. Okay, runner at first with Chad Green. He is a C bunter. That means we make him D because I always play with the infield in, expecting the bunt. That is a D8, so it's a 1-2. Want a low roll here on the addition sum. Then there's 7. That is a sacrifice. That'll be to the pitcher. Nothing for Chacin to do other than throw to first. And that is Pennington covering. Okay, so now Ellsbury up with another runner at second. Can he drive home a run? He's 0 for 2. He's due. 3-8. It's a grounder right back to Chacin, and he completes the out. So they do get 1 run over on the double, followed by the single for Headley, RBI. 4-0 Yankees. Okay, so the pitcher spot up third, and I think they're going to have to pinch hit for Chacin here. So it'll be Jet Bandy to lead off, the catcher. He is 0 for 1, 2, 3. Hit by pitch plus an injury. So let's roll the D20 and see what's going to come up. That's a 9. So this injury is going to come after the fact, and it's a 1 game, so I'm not even worried about it. We're not even going to count it. So he's aboard, but does get clunked. So here's Nick Buss. Probably should think about bunting since they're going to be pinch hitting, but let's go ahead and have him hit away. 4-9 against the lefty is a strikeout. So now they're going to have Caleb Cowart come in to pinch hit here. It's early time and only 4 innings for Chacin. Okay, so here's Cowart with the runner at first. 1-5. That is a strikeout. And now Cliff Pennington. He is, move this down, he is 1 for 2. 112. That is a single. It's not a clutch situation because there's no runner in scoring position. So that is a single with, we're going to let Bandy go to third. It's left field. We're going to have him held. Not a fast runner, and left field means it's a shorter distance. So Cole Calhoun, first and second, 2 away. Can they pick up a couple runs here? Get back into this game. 4-6 lefty. This is a normal power home run chance. 1-19. As long as it's not a 20, it is gone. That's a 3-run job. Bandy comes in, Pennington comes in, Calhoun with a 3-run dinger. And one of the problems with playing at your home games at Yankee Stadium is even though you hit a bunch of homers, the other team does too. It is now 4-3. It's a whole different ball game. Now the trouble is that the Angels are going to their bullpen already. But so Green is not tired yet. This is his inning of weakness, but the hit by pitch does not count against that. 5-5. That is a normal bomb, no question about it. Back-to-back homers for the Angels. Trout goes deep. It is now all square at 4. A big 4 spot on the inning. And now Green is tired. They're going to keep him in there for Crone. He's got 2 outs. All he needs is one more. 3-8. That's a strikeout, but the damage is done. 4 runs. Now a tie ball game. The Angels square it up with New York. And I just realized I made a bad call on that Trout home run. Let's roll the D20. And it's an 11, of course. What's the Yankee Stadium? Yes. So we can check the robbing. So I looked at the wrong side of Green's card. Mike Trout is a right-handed hitter. So the right-handed 5-5 is a normal home run on a 1-10. It's actually a double. So we're going to revise this. It's not 4-3. It's not 4-4. It's 4-3. Mike Trout doubles. Then we get the strikeout. So it's actually 4-3. This is an addendum on my part. I made a mistake. 4-3. Angels fans are like, that's a horrible call. That was over the fence. And despite their objections, the umpire went to the camera, got it right, and that is now where it stands. So, and that was the correct call. So it's going to be Jose Alvarez coming in for Chacín. Chacín goes 4 innings. Not a good outing for him whatsoever. So, Gardner up against the lefty, Alvarez. 5-9. That's a single. Let's see, Gregorius. You know, Gardner will try and get a good jump here. So this is going to be a 1-16 if he can get it. He needs a 7 on the total. He gets a 12, so that's not going to work out. So Gregorius up. There's a 2. It means we go with the balk. Alvarez doesn't have a balk rating, so let's keep going. 1-7 against the lefty. It's a fly ball to center field, which will be caught by Trout. 1 out. Gary Sanchez. 3-6. That's a walk. Puts Gardner into scoring position, and it brings up Aaron Hicks. Batting from the right side this time. Potential wild pitch, 1-7, and it's a 3, so now they're going to have to play the infield in with second and third, 1 out. 2-4. That is a wait, no, that's a ground ball to second A, so that will be the runner's hold. 4-3. I was looking from the wrong side. Hicks grounds to second. That's 2 outs. So Teixeira. Infield normal depth now. 3-11. That's a potential single. This would score a run if it's a 1-10. And it's an 18. So it's a liner to short, and Alvarez works around it as I have a bunch of stuff fall. That was Teixeira. Okay, well, hang on a second. All right, so a little bit of a hairy bottom of the bottom of the fifth there for Alvarez, but he pulled through for the inning. So the Yankees are going to go to their bullpen now, give Green a lift. He did get tired after that double by Trout, so that's going to mean they're bringing in Kirby Yates. He will face Andrelton Simmons, then Marte, and then Bandy 2-8. That's a grounder to third base. That'll be Chase Headley throwing to first. That's an out. One down. Jeffrey Marte. 2-8 again. That's another ground to third base. Wow. They bounced around quite a bit. Now Bandy 2 away. 1-4. That's going to be a tall pop-up just out of... Actually, it's going to come back into play, but it's still foul ground. It's going to be caught by Headley, and that's a 1-2-3 inning for Kirby Yates. All right, so this is probably a death knell for the Angels. They have to try and get an inning here in the sixth out of Brett Oberholzer, and that can be a real ask here. His card is a nightmare. He's going to face Chase Headley. Headley will be batting from the right side. They're kind of low on relievers at the moment, so they've got to go with this guy. Here's a 2-8. That's a grounder to short. He's going to get an out as Simmons throws to first. Now it's going to be Starlin Castro. 1-11 against a lefty. That's a single as long as it's 1-16. And it's an 18, so Oberholzer gets him to line out. A nice diving stop from Simmons prevents another hit, and now the Yankees will call on... We'll have Tyler Austin take a swing at Oberholzer here. We're in the sixth. Can Oberholzer get a 1-2-3 inning? That would be just about right for me, the way that I introduced him, huh? 4-6 righty. That's a walk, so no such luck there. I think we need to try and get Austin a stolen base here if we can. He's got a good speed if he can get that 3. He can't, so not likely he's going to get a chance to steal, but I thought we'd try. Now Jacoby Ellsbury. 4-4 lefty. That's a fly ball to center field. This is Trout. This is one place where you want an X chance. 1-E5, 1-12. He gets to it with no problem. Does he make the play? There's a 9. He does. That's an out. That will end the inning. So Oberholzer survives. We're going to go to the 7th inning. It is 4-3 Yankees on top. So it's going to be Chase and Shreve coming in for Yankees to pitch. The left-hander is going to face Nick Buss. So Buss leading off. His card against lefties is not good. But a 4-9 against a lefty. He has a chance to reach on a triple. He needs a 1, doesn't get it. So that's a fly ball to center field. And that's going to be caught out there by Ellsbury. Now a pinch hitter for the Angels. They're going to call on the future Hall of Famer Albert Pujols. Most likely, I would imagine. Hopefully that's not too controversial, but he's had a pretty dang good career. So Pujols against Shreve. 1-4. That's a liner, hot shot right at Gregorius. He makes the grab. That puts Pujols out. And now here is Pennington. And they're just going to go ahead and let him hit here at the moment. 1-10. That's a grounder to third base. That will be Headley throws to first. And that's a 1-2-3 inning again for the Yankees. Shreve and the bullpen doing their job here for New York, going to the bottom of the 7th. Angels are going to have to go to their bullpen. And this time they're going to call on J.C. Ramirez. A little early to go to him. He's more of a setup guy. But they had to pinch hit for Oberholzer. So it will be Ramirez facing Gardner. Okay, Gardner, here he goes. I need to move this up a little bit here so you can see my scoreboard. It's 4-3 Yankees. 5-7, batting from the left, and that's going to be a leadoff single for Gardner. Gardner 4 for 4. He's a triple. No, he's not a triple away from the cycle. He has 3 singles and a double. Ramirez not good at holding runners whatsoever. Need to see if Gardner can get a bag so they can take an insurance run. That's a 12. He does not get a lead. You would still get maybe a 1-9. That's less than 50%. We're not trying to steal with that. Here is Gregorius. 6-8 lefty. That's a strikeout. Gary Sanchez. 6-9 righty. That's a walk. So Gardner is going to trot down to second base. Now Aaron Hicks. 3-4. And he lifts it in the air, but that's not even get out of the infield. That's going to be hit to Marte, and he makes the catch. That would actually be an infield fly rule. 2 outs. And Tashura. Potential wild pitch, 1-19. That's going to take the force off. So they're going to continue the at-bat here. 2 outs. 2 runners in scoring position. 5-6 lefty. Struck him out. Whew. Okay, 4-3 Yankees. Okay, top of the 8-4-3 Yankees. Shreve is going to face Calhoun here. And then the Yankees do have Tyler Clippard warming up in the bullpen. He will probably come in once Calhoun is taken care of here one way or the other. And that's going to be a 1-15 single chance. That's a 9, so it'll be a single for Calhoun. And the Yankees definitely are going to make the move to the pen. Calling in Clippard. Shreve gives up the single. Pitches an inning and a batter. And now it will be Mike Trout facing Clippard here with Calhoun at first. Nobody out. .44 righty, catcher X. Let's see, that's Sanchez. He is a 3 catcher range. 3-19. That would be a. They're going to get the lead runner, I believe, as long as his E. What is his E rating? 4. 4 and 10. I'm pretty sure that's yeah, that's fine. So G2. Need to take a look at the chart and make sure with a runner at first. G2 runner at first. Force. So that's definitely, I want to be 100% sure. So Calhoun is forced out at second on the 2-4. Yeah, 2-4. They'd be shading a little bit to the left side. So that'll be a fielder's choice. Trout. Now the question is, do you try and steal with Trout? He already got caught stealing once, and with his mechanism, he has to go. So it's you got -4. That's a really, the Yankees are pretty good, especially with Sanchez back there holding runners. So here's C.J. Cron, 1 out, runner at first, 4-3 deficit. They're down by 1. 4-8 against a righty. That's a walk. Trout does get second, and now you got a runner in scoring position with less than 2 outs. Here is Andrelton Simmons. 1-6. That's a fly ball to center field. It's going to be Ellsbury making his way underneath it and catching it. Throwing it in. There's going to be no advance. Now Jeffrey Marte. Is this going to be the Angels' best chance to get this game tied up? It might be. The bottom of the lineup not looking so great. So here is Marte. He has the power. Can he connect? 2 outs. Runners at first and second. There is a 5-5 righty. That's a walk. It's going to load him up for Jet Bandy. And now the question is, do you pinch hit here or do you let Bandy go after it? He does have some pop as well. But you do have Rafael Ortega, who has a little better average. Petit he's a 245. Perez, 209, not so great. Bandy, 234. You know, Ortega, you also get the left-handed side of Clippard's card, which that 4 column is there. I think we're just going to stick with Bandy. It's 2 outs. The other thing that we have to factor in is the 1-8 and the 1-5, and the 1-8 and the 2-5 and the 110 are all singles, but they are also anti-clutch, which means they go the other way when it comes to runners in scoring position and 2 outs. So it makes us wonder if we should do a change. Well, we need to manage this as if we are not aware of what's on the card. So we're going to go with Bandy. Here we go, 2 outs. It's tough because you want to manage based on what's on the card, but don't necessarily have that explicit knowledge. 3-6, that's a pop-up that's going to be caught by Gregorius. And the side is retired through 7.5. Yankees still clinging to that 1-run lead. Okay, so the Angels are going to have Mike Morin come in. He pitched yesterday. That means he's going to be unavailable tomorrow. But seems like the plan... Seems like a good plan here. He's going to face Headley. Bottom of the 8th. 4-3 Yankees on top. Angels just trying to keep it close. There's a single. Knocks it through the infield out into center field. There's a base hit. Starlin Castro up now. 2-6. He strikes out. Morin with a good strikeout there. Now we're going to need to pinch hit for the pitcher spot. Yankees are going to call on Dellin Betances, who blew a save yesterday. What's a better way to get it working than to have him come right back again? So they're going to call on Brian McCann here. They have Austin Romine available on the bench as a backup catcher if necessary. So McCann is freed up to be a pinch hitter. So here's McCann against the righty. 3-4. That's a grounder to first base. That's going to be Crone. He's going to call off the pitcher, and the play is made. He runs it to the bag himself, and now Ellsbury. 2 outs. That's going to... Oh, wait. There was a runner at first. Headley's on. What am I talking about? Let's go back. That was McCann. That was a 3-4, which is a ground ball to first A, which is a 3-6-3 double play, and that will end the inning. So nothing doing. And I probably should have been rolling D20. Oh, well. What's happened has happened. Let's go to the 9th, see if Betances can close this out. You know there's going to be a pinch hitter for Buss at the very least. Well, we'll say for the pit. There'll be a... For Morin, there will be a pinch hitter at the very least. And, you know, with Buss up, I guess they'll let him hit. He's a lefty. Lefty versus righty. That should be okay. 1 inning for Clippard. And now we're going to bring in Dellin Betances to try and close this out. Angels need a run. Here's Nick Buss leading it off. 3-7. That's a fly ball in the left. Gardner reaches for it, grabs it, 1 out. So the Angels, let's see, it's either Ortega or Petite, one or the other. Petite's the guy that's going to get you the home run potentially to tie it up, so let's give him a shot here. He's got the power, although he is weak. I'd say him and Ortega aren't all that different. So this is top of the 9th, and here is Petite to face Betances. Righty, maybe not. Could have had a lefty-righty there with Ortega. Let's see what happens here. 3-9. That is a single, so he gets a hit in a big situation. It's not clutch because there's not 2 outs and there's not runners in scoring position. So Petite with Betances, even with Betances, that basically cancels out Sanchez's strong arm. You could try. Yeah, I think you want to try and steal second here. Let's see. You need that 1 run. Pennington's not much of a double play risk, but let's see if Petite can get the 7. You need to avoid an 11. It's an 8, so that basically takes the chance out of it. Now we got to go with Pennington here. 1 away, runner at first. 3-4. That's a grounder to the pitcher. What did I tell you? Grounder to the pitcher, throws to second for 1. Over to, let's see, he's hitting from the left, so that'll be 1-6-3 double play. That is your ball game. The Angels fall short by a score of 4-3. Angels fans still reeling over that call. Trout looked like he thought it went, but then they checked the replay and it was just short. And that is going to end up being the difference in this one, as Chad Green goes 5 innings, gets the victory on that questionable call. Yankees always seem to be the beneficiary of those, and not a difference here today at the old ballpark. So thanks for watching, everybody. I hope this sort of stem to stern helped you out here. Wanted to do this as much for anybody new to the channel as for, but you know, who knows, maybe some of the people who've been here a while also will appreciate seeing kind of another go around with the way that I set things up and taking a look at the different tools I use. So hit subscribe, hit like. We'll see you soon here on Tabletop Baseball Plus. Thanks for watching. It's been a pleasure. God bless, and have a great weekend.